Yeah, welcome you all. So today we are having a special guest, Sri C.S.Udhayakumar sir. And the topic is also quite important. He's having a socially relevant topic and highly important topic like value-based education, importance of value-based education. So I would like to introduce Sri C.S.Udhayakumar sir, former Associate Professor, Amrita Vidyapeetham University, Ettimadai, Coimbatore. Sri C.S.Udhayakumar sir, affectionately called Udayji by students and friends, has 45 years of varied teaching experience in the field of yoga, yoga therapy, life skills and personal growth, integral studies, spirituality, education, and allied subjects. His publications include two-volume publication titled Beyond Personality, collected works on self-awareness and personal growth, useful guidelines of yoga practices, written articles for Indian Express and other magazines. And there is a detailed profile because I think it's not very much limited time and it will be better that the sir himself introduce on a detailed basis. And the other thing, he was consultant for yoga education, life skills, self-awareness and personal growth, stress management programs for various organizations like Madras Port Trust, National Institute of Port Management, IOB Staff College, LIC Zonal Training Center, Tube Products of India, TA Cycles of India, Tamil Nadu Petro Products Limited, then several other institutions in and around South India as well as other part of India. He was also closely associated with the Krishnamurti Foundation India and was with the new education schools both in Varanasi and Chennai for a number of years. He started the teaching career in the arts and science of yoga and yoga therapy in the year 1976 when he joined Yoga Academy, an offshoot of Swami Shivananda Vedanta Yoga Center founded by Swami Vishnu Devananda and one of the chief disciples of Swami Shivananda of Divine Life Society, Rishikesh, and under the line and affectionate guidance of late Dr. B.V. Reddy. He also received guidance and drew inspiration from Dr. TKV TKV Desi Kasher, son and former student of legendary Mysore T. Krishna Sri Krishna Macharya, yeah, of KEM Institute. He was the founder director of Yoga Kshetra Foundation for Yoga Studies, a school devoted to dissemination of yoga education, and many more things are associated with him. And moreover, he was my teacher, and I want to remove that boss. He is my teacher. So welcome you, Sri Udayji, for this interactive session, and it will be a valuable and a treasure session because now value education is having a lot of importance in our society. So welcome you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you, Hari.
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
So I would like to hear an introduction from your side because I'm reading, there will be some mistake because it's a detailed introduction.
Yes.
So from your side, sir, please.
Right. So I am basically a yoga exponent, a yoga teacher, a yoga therapist, and so on and so forth. And I've been in this field of teaching and more so learning yoga and its various aspects concerning our life and so on for almost about 45 plus years now. And I had my yoga center called Yoga Kshetram in Chennai for many years. And in 1994 or 95, when Amma, Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, started Amrita University in Coimbatore, Amma asked me to come and join the university as a yoga exponent, a yoga teacher, and teacher of subjects like cultural education, self-awareness, and personal growth, and so on. So from 95, maybe, end of 95 onwards, I'm a full-time faculty in the Amrita University, Coimbatore, and I got retired, officially retired in March of this year. But I'm still continuing to teach in the university because many of you know this is a very unique subject, and so they invited me to continue teaching the MBA students, especially both the first year and the second year, and that is what I am doing now. So apart from all this, I also make videos for my YouTube channel as part of my teaching program in the university, because many things which I am not able to teach online to the students, I make videos and give the link to my students so they watch the videos from my channel called Satsang with Udayji. So I'm happily retired and yeah, living a good life, doing my own little things and sharing what little I have learned and experienced in my life. So
Yeah.
this is about me, Hari.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So I think we can start the discussion.
Right.
My first question in my mind arising just now is the importance of value-based education,
Right.
both in school curriculum as well as university syllabus. Because nowadays we can see in the society, though we are telling a lot of values and we know it's written everywhere in books, in the internet or whatever it may be, we are discussing also. But how the society some or the other way lacking the value. So how to impart or encourage the value-based education in the educational system, sir?
Right. Right. Let me begin this way. Education, the word education comes from the word educare, which means to draw out, to bring out, to manifest, to express. So the real meaning of the word education is to bring all that is already there. You know, your potentialities, your powers, your possibilities, your talents, your gifts, all that you have come with in life, to allow that to express, to manifest for the benefit of not only you, but the whole world at large. That is the real meaning of education. But unfortunately, since the Britishers took over and they imposed their Macaulay system of education, we have gone very far away from the real education that was taught in our ancient Gurukula system of education. So from that perspective, if you look at education, what's going on in the schools and colleges and universities and so on, you can divide education into two different categories. One is education for life, life with a capital L. And the other type of education is education for survival. So what is education for survival? To acquire skills and knowledge and what have you, so that you are equipped to get a good job in society and perform well to produce wealth and so on and so forth. So this is the type of education which is going on in all the schools and colleges and universities. They only highlight this type of education where you are given the knowledge and skills so that you get a job, a good job. What does a good job mean? A lot of money. That is all they look at. And only since the, maybe I would say, past 10 or 15 years, especially when you look at Amrita University. Amrita University is one of the first universities, maybe in the country, to begin talking about education for life. Education for survival is not the only thing, that is only a small part of the real education. Side by side, complementing this, you have to offer the students, the participants, what is called education for life. So what is education for life? It's all about knowing and understanding yourself, right? Understanding yourself in relation to the world and the universe as a whole. So what we call value education comes under education for life. So without education for life, which is knowing and understanding everything about yourself, both the outer as well as the inner, education for survival has very little meaning. In fact, education for survival without education for life is very dangerous. It is like giving a small little child guns or weapons, right? The child doesn't know. It only knows how to play the toys. And if you give a gun or whatever to the child, it's dangerous. So, Hari, can you give me 1 minute?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we can cut here and then start again. Yeah, is it okay?
Yeah, I will be pausing. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Yes, started. Yeah.
So, without education for life, education for survival is very dangerous, because that is what is happening in the world now, right? Wherever you look, education for survival is given so much of importance. Value education, education for life is hardly given anything, right? So it's high time education policy makers and the university education board members should start thinking seriously about this. Because as I told you, Amrita University is one of the first universities to begin this program. In fact, every program, UG programs, PG programs, even PhD programs in the Amrita School of Business had this component called, what we called in Amrita University, self-awareness and personal growth for the MBA students and the PhD students, and cultural education for the MTech students and the engineering system, right? So this was inculcated right from the beginning. And after we started in our university, many other universities began, on a small scale. Universities in outside India, for example, United States, Canada, and so on, they have their own programs like this. Of course, they don't call by this name. It's called by, for example, creativity in business, and so on and so forth. So now the good news is, now slowly, gradually, many universities and colleges are rethinking about their curriculum and the inclusion of programs like, value education, subjects based on value education. For example, tell the children, the students, talk about, how little they know about themselves, right? And talk to them about spirituality, the real meaning of spirituality, right? Culture of this great country before the Britishers destroyed all the education system. So it is very, very important that education, schools and colleges and universities bring this aspect of education for life very deep into the curriculum and make subjects that is associated with education for life the center around which all the other subjects go round. Because otherwise, the education that only looks at education for survival is a dangerous proposition,
Okay.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah. So that's the meaning of value-based education, as the title suggests. Value for many things.
Absolutely.
Each subject is having its own value, whether it's mathematics, sociology, psychology, philosophy, science, arts, everywhere that value is there. And nowadays we are not understanding the value. We are just learning the subject. Right. And real life values also coming. Right. So incorporating the real life value with the subject value, then our productivity, our quality will be better on a value-based manner also. So thank you, sir, for your valuable suggestions. Right. And my next question coming into mind is that nowadays we can see all are very much frustrated. Stress level is there everywhere. let it be a small kid playing with a toy, to a old age person sitting with his smartphone or watching TV or reading newspaper. Everything we need, everything should be in our fingertip and without any time delay. Our patients are getting down nowadays. We can see everywhere. That's why a lot of, I mean, nowadays in school, colleges, we can see after this pandemic or during this situation, lot of social, psychological problems are also happening. I mean, many people and everyone is filled with stress.
Right.
So how can we relate the stress with value-based education? How to maintain balance in our life?
Right. Other than, many other things that what education for life does, one other thing that, subjects related to education for life does is it gives a meaning, a direction, or facilitate the students to find out for themselves what they really love to do, instead of all the time doing what other people want them to do, right? Instead of doing what the other people expect him or her to do. So this programs like Education for Life actually helps the students to look at themselves and find out, discover what they really like to do, what they love to do. Not based on, money or fame or name or popularity or whatever, right? What do they really want? I mean, the question is, what do I really want? What do I want from life? What am I looking for? What do I love to do? So programs like these, create an ambience where the students themselves gradually begin to question a lot of their assumptions and opinions and belief systems. And they, in most cases, many of these students discover at least what they don't want to do, right? So to discover what they really love to do, maybe takes a little more time, but at least the first step, they have discovered what they don't want to do. Clear enough. So why so much of stress and anxiety? Because all these people, whether they are students or business persons or employees, all of them are doing what they really don't like to do, what they really don't want to do, but they are forced to do. For example, take my own example, right? At least I think, right? I think I'm a right-brained guy, which means I am more artistic, more, heart-centered being. I look at the whole picture and so on and so forth. Now, if you, because of my, let's say, education, I've been educated in the college or whatever, and because of my education degree or whatever, I am forced to work in a bank, counting cash. Will I ever be able to do justice to what I'm doing? Impossible. This is the situation most of the people in the world find nowadays. And they go on day after day after day. They go on doing what they don't want to do. Yet they are forced to do. So many situations tie them up, trap them, bind them. This is one reason. Second is, they are not clear. They are not clear. In the mind, psychologically, they are not clear. If you ask anybody, any student or whatever, in fact, I, in my classes, usually begin with this question, the first two classes. What do you want? Why have you chosen this subject? Why do you want to do this? And believe me, 95 plus, maybe I would say 99% of the students don't know the answer. Then why are they sitting in the class? Because their father asked them to do it. The mother asked them to do it. Their uncle asked them to do it. Or the peer pressure. My friends are doing, therefore I am also doing. Right? So stress, anxiety, the primary cause is this. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they are doing what they're doing. This is what I have observed.
So exactly, sir. So I'm just adding one more thing to this question. The thing is that when stress and anxiety is coming, we are all keeping ourselves aware that someone is watching us. But
Right.
actually, we are not doing justice to our mind. We are all
Exactly.
depending upon the society, what he or she is thinking about me, what
Exactly.
my family will be thinking. If I don't know this, my social image will be gone. And we
Right.
are scared of expressing our own personal passions, as
Absolutely.
Deji has mentioned. So this is the situation where we are creating a pressure cooker inside our heart and we are breaking it.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah. So moving to the next stage, I would like to ask one question. Nowadays, we are all praying. Many people are praying. Many are meditating. Actually, what is the real meaning of prayer? Whether it is spirituality, irrespective of the religion, the real meaning of prayer or self-realization, as I am seeing myself. I have to understand myself. I will be the best person to analyze myself, no one else. I
Right.
can go to a doctor and tell that I'm the symptoms only. And his diagnosing is also having a limitation. But I must be the person understanding my body or my soul. So what is the importance of prayer nowadays? Prayer, meditation, self-realization in order to maintain peace in life.
Yes. Yes. From your question, I will take it as three different parts. One is prayer, the other one is meditation, and the other one is self-realization. So one after the other, I'll cover it.
Sure, sir.
As I have understood, as I have understood from my experience and from my listening to great masters and rishis and sages of India and the rest of the world, what I have understood is, in the real sense of the word, prayer is gratitude. You know, your whole being is, full of gratitude for what life has given you. You know, whatever it is, it could be a disease, it could be a pain, it could be a suffering in life. I've heard, I've read, I've known people with terminal cancer, for example, right? This is just an example. Terminally ill cancer patients who have gone to the extreme and come back. And after they have gone through a process, they keep telling people with a big, beautiful smile in their face that cancer was a blessing in my life. Thank God I learned so much and it opened up so many things. So gratitude, for whatever that the sense, the feeling of gratitude is what is actually the word prayer means. But prayer in the usual common sense, it's as if we are asking, let me use the word God or Supreme or whatever names you want to call. You are asking for something. Please give me this. Please give me that. Please don't allow that to happen. So many things. It's as if you're telling God or the Supreme what to do, as if that Supreme doesn't know. Right? So in the common sense of the word, prayer is only a supplication, right? Please do this, please do that. If you do this to me, I'll do that to you. It's a kind of business bargain. But the actual meaning of the word prayer, as I told you, and I repeat again, it's gratitude. You don't even have to use words. That sense, that tremendous feeling of gratitude, maybe tears flow down your eyes. That is the real meaning of prayer. Now, what is meditation? The original Sanskrit word for meditation is dhyanam. There is no literal translation for the word dhyanam in the English language, even today. The Chinese use the word chan when Bodhidharma took this word to China, and the Japanese, when this word further traveled east towards Japan, in the Japanese culture, the word for dhyanam is Zen. And in the Western countries, they use the English word meditation. Now, if you look at the word meditation in a good dictionary, the meaning is to think about something deeply, to indulge in thinking. But actually, that is not meditation. Meditation has nothing to do with thinking. You're not thinking about something deeply. You're not indulging in thought. In fact, what we understand as dhyanam is something that is beyond thinking, beyond thought. So, in a sense, in simple words, what is meditation? What is dhyanam? Silence of the mind. Stillness of the mind is dhyanam, is meditation. Now, what is self-realization? Look at the word, realization. It's not an intellectual activity. It is not a mental activity. It is not a psychological assumption. Realization, realizing who you really are. And our ancient sages and rishis and yogis and munis, all of them since time immemorial have been telling us again and again and again, who you are is not what you think you are. You are not the body, you are not the personality, you are not the mind, you are not the thoughts, you're not the idea that you have about yourself. You're none of that. Who you are is way beyond all this. Who you are is eternal, beyond birth and death. In fact, there's a lovely Sanskrit word the rishis use. They call us Amritasya Putri or Amritasya Putra. Now, what does that mean? Sons and daughters of immortality. So, to realize that, grandeur of who you are is called self-realization, which is the ultimate, I wouldn't say ultimate, that is the purpose, meaning, and the beginning and end of life.
Exactly, Udayji. It was like a mental regeneration or a pilgrim trip for myself, self-realization on having such conversation with you. And it is actually an eye-opening. Actually, now one question arises in my mind. There is always, we are having theoretical value and practical value. And everywhere the practical value, there will be some errors. And it is created by the, we call supreme power or something else. In our body also, the dimensions, there may be some mismatch. The left side and right side, some mismatch, which we can't identify by our naked eyes. So that is the magic of the creative power. And that is the small gap is there. And if you're filling that gap, it is impossible. That errors must be there, which we can't identify ourselves. So that is self-realization. It tends to infinity, and we are in search of that. So it was a wonderful discussion with you on the subject, which gave a vast idea on various perspectives. So going to the next level. Now we have discussed self-realization, meditation, prayers, first, importance of value-based education. Now coming to the other side. Nowadays we can see more or less on whether it may be students, friends, parents, or family, there is an ego clash, or I mean, something like it's going like a mega serial. They are not opening up their mind. If they are opening on a better communication, the script is over. In serials, that is happening. Then only they can run the show. But in family also, they are keeping something in mind, or friends, among the friends, they are doing something. So how can you relate it with a moral value on value-based education?
Right. In fact, just a while ago, you used the word, most of the students, and I mean, even the adults, they have this feeling, if I do this, if I don't do that, what will people think about me? What kind of impressions they will have about me? This is, this is not an ordinary fear. This is a real fear, a practical fear. Most of the students have this, right? If I do this, if I don't do that, what will other people think about me? As if the others really think about him or her. There is a lovely saying in the English language, up to the age of 20, I did not know that there is something called other people thinking about me. When I reached 40, until 40 years, the next 20 years, I was working on and worrying and, being depressed about what other people think about me, what will they feel about me, and so on for 20 years until my 40th year. After 40 years, I realized none of them ever thought about me. Right? This is an English saying.
Yeah.
What a waste, right? 20 plus years I have wasted in thinking and adjusting who I am, what I am, thinking that what will other people think about me. The reality, the fact is, none of them thought about you or anybody else because they themselves are busy thinking about what other people are thinking about them. So this is an actual vicious trap, right? So this fear is what pushes people to do what they're doing. Even today in Tamil serials and movies and regional movies, you can see, there's a dialogue the Tamil actors use. Ennoda kudumba manam gauravam enna avarudhu, as if there is such a thing. This is all imaginary. In fact, there is nothing like that. This is what I imagine. What will people think about my caste, my creed? These are all fictions in the head. The moment you realize you've been burdened and trapped with all these imaginary creations, that day the bubble will burst. And you will no more be worried about what other people think about you or feel about you, because that's not a fact. So this is where observation, observing yourself, your thoughts, your belief systems, and your daily life, all that becomes important. This is where value education becomes important. Education for life becomes, education for life is like a mirror. We show this to students and, whoever is there. Look at yourself. First and foremost, know and understand yourself. That's the first step.
Yeah, exactly. So as Udayji has mentioned about gratitude, paying gratitude is endless, because if I'm trying to think of everything, many people are responsible. The society is helping me in different ways. Lot of people are responsible. The air I am breathing, the water I am drinking, the environment. I'm really paying. We have to pay the gratitude to the environment. It's endless.
Absolutely.
So it is limitless. So that is the main point that Udayji has mentioned. So it is an really, it's absolute. It's a topic on discussion on that limit is limitless. So
right.
Yeah. Next thing I would like to ask is that nowadays, as value-based education, and in school level, when I was studying, I had my schooling from Chinmay Vidyalaya. We had a subject known as moral instruction. Now that term is changed, where we are reading some stories and moral of the story. Everywhere that moral of the story is there. So how can we impart or understand from the ancient epics or ancient Puranas also? Like whether it may be Bible, Gita, or Mahabharata, or Quran, every religion spreads some moral, the essence called love. So that what is the real meaning of love? Love means the sense now people are loving money. If we are having fame, name, we are loving him or her. But ultimately, if there is a destruction or a change in the position, that love we are seeing that love is lost. So what is the permanent meaning of love, sir?
It's a very big question. I don't know how I'm going to answer this, but for convenience sake, for language communication sake, let us say there is something called love with a small L, and there is love with a capital L. Now, what is this love with a small letter? Business again. So much I have loved you, but you have not loved me back. You don't even look at me, right? I've done so much for you, and what have you done? In one of the great Upanishads of our country, there is a dialogue between Yajnavalkya, a great sage, and his wife Maitreyi. And Yajnavalkya explains to Maitreyi that the love of a husband towards his wife is not for the wife, but for himself. The love of the wife for the husband is not for the husband, but for her own sake. Love for the parents, for the children, is for their own sake. Children's love for the parents is for their own sake, not for the parents' sake, and so on and so on and so on. So what we call love is an exchange program. I do this for you, you do this for me. You know, it's like mutual scratching your back. So which is really not love, right? This is just expecting what the other person will give me if I give this. In fact, if you look at the whole world, observe most parts of the world, this is what people go by the word love, right? Which is actually, you know, let me use the word, you know, painful, because that's not real, right? And it doesn't last also. You know, we might have seen a lot of these people who claim that, you know, we love each other, you know, and we are going to love each other for life. How can you promise about something which you know nothing about? I will love you forever. I mean, what an absurd statement, right? And even those people who say, I love you forever, maybe a few months, few weeks, a couple of years, which is even more, gone. Where did that go? Right? This is what we usually call by the word small l, love. Now, the love with a capital L, we have various names for that, words for that. Unconditional, you know, a love which has no conditions whatsoever. A love which is also called compassion, you know, that kind of love where the love is genuine, absolutely not an iota of expectation from the person who loves. Whatever you are, you might be a good person, a bad person, a businessman, a moneyed person, a poor person, illiterate, doesn't matter. Love is ever flowing. Now, that kind of love can only be seen in realized people, in what we call sages and rishis and, you know, self-realized masters and so on. Yeah. Now, how do they get that kind of love? Because they have seen themselves. They know who they are. And for them, there is no division. You are part of them. I am part of them. The whole universe is them. They are not different from the universe. It's like, you know, for example, in our body, the toe, one of the toe gets hurt, right? It dashes against some object and it gets hurt. Will I keep quiet? That is my toe only. You know, it's far away. I'm not bothered. No, because that is part of me. This is how those rishis and sages feel. The whole universe is them. They are the universe. Therefore, you are not separate. Therefore, I can't help but love you. Right? This is the all-encompassing and unconditional, unlimited, enlightened love. So the love with a capital L is the only thing that is real. The other love with a small letter L, that's not love at all. That is just...
yeah, it was a well-defined definition for love with much more explanations added on. So thank you for this terminology called love. Now I'm thinking about the capital L and small l. Exactly. So thank you, Udayji, for joining this session. And I would like to add one thing. If money is lost, nothing is lost. If character is lost, if health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. But with moral values, we can build everything. With a good character, we can mold our character. We can nurture the character from the childhood. And with this character, we can make others smile and the world smile and pay gratitude to the whole cold environment. And right now, I'm paying my gratitude to Udayji for joining this session. With a gratitude of prayers, a gratitude of happiness, and with the gratitude of that so-called capital letter L, I am concluding, and I need all your blessings, and I wish you a good health and a prosperous life ahead. to create smiles among a lot of people around the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hari, for giving me this opportunity. And I loved the session. And I love talking about all this because this is my passion, this is my life. And I hope that people who have listened to all this, our interaction, would understand something and make use of that in their daily life. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.